This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Like we're up. Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike. I got my line-mate Matt with me. Today, we're going to go over the Blackhawks' last couple games, and we're going to get into possible rosters for the Four Nations tournament that's going to be coming up in the next couple months. Not too deep into the rosters, but essentially kind of what's going on. There's some news about Bedard, and we're going to talk about the Central Division today, too. So just to start off, the Blackhawks won their game against Dallas, essentially kind of continuing on with their trend of beating better teams and losing to crap teams, and they won 6-2. They really broke out offensively. It seemed like everyone who's had a drought scored in that game. Bedard scored, Teravainen scored, which was pretty big. I think Hall had a hat trick in that game, and I think that was good for the boys to kind of get that monkey off their back. Matt, do you think that maybe this is a hopefully a trend for things to come, that we're finally starting to break through offensively?
Well, the goalie on Dallas was awful. Taylor Hall probably had the easiest hattie I've ever seen. The first goal was, I think he just didn't play it right. The second goal, he misplayed it behind the net. And third goal was nice. I give him that one. But sure. Yeah, if we faced Ottinger, I think it would have been a different game.
Maybe 4-2?
I think we probably would have scored only that Bedard goal. His goal was very nice, and that's what you need to see more of. That shot is so elite, and he barely had any room. Just unbelievable how he hits him.
I think it was just an all-around good game from everybody. Going into the Minnesota game, I thought it was great because they kind of had some momentum going into that game, and they were up 2-0 for a while. And then, Minnesota scored two quick goals. I think 2 goals within 17 seconds, kind of rings an old bell right there that the Blackhawks are familiar with. And then they ended up losing 3-2.
They're a good team.
They're a very good team, man. And I think that it's important to recognize that the Blackhawks, they lost to a very good team, but it was 3-2 and it wasn't a blowout. So, Richardson wants defense from everybody, and in some ways that's paying off, but I think that's also brings in why they're having so many offensive struggles so far this season. Bedard's got 17 points in 23 games. I think that's he is in a bit of a slump, but it also says something that in his sophomore slump, he's only 5 points off the pace of being a point per game guy, which anybody else would be a stellar season. Do you think that maybe going forward, we should get a little bit of structure with this roster and kind of just let Kurashev play with Bedard, considering Kurashev is only productive when he plays with Bedard?
Yeah, why not? I think Bedard, he assisted in the Minnesota game, so he's kind of got a little streak going.
He almost had a goal too.
Yeah.
He had a shot. His rebound was coming towards him, but it was kind of like a knuckler, and he tried to hit an open net, but it kind of just bounced over his stick.
I think he's doing the right things. He's hardest working kid on the team. Just not getting that luck, but I think that shot against Dallas, if he starts shooting the puck like that, just those impossible angle shots, he's going to be fine.
Reichel also wasn't really lighting up the scoring sheet, but it looked like he was getting some high danger chances, and he was skating around all over the place. I also saw him have a couple takeaways. Do you think that that we can kind of put, at least for now, put to rest the Reichel bust talk, and essentially say that this kid is still developing clearly and is playing better than he has in the past?
Oh, yeah. I think the bust talk is gone. I haven't seen any of the busters on X talking about him like they were. He Him and Smith have some good chemistry together. I just
And Maroon.
yep. He's a fourth line guy on this team, which is something I thought he'd be a top six, but I guess you got to keep them together if it's working.
Yeah, I agree. Going forward today, we're recording this. We're doing a live on Twitter. I'm sorry, X, and we just want to say what's up to everybody. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. And the Blackhawks play today at 2, and we're also going to release this as the podcast as well. So, Matt, I think that's pretty much it for the Blackhawks for now, man. I think that they're trending on the way up. They're not the worst team in the league. Surprisingly, Nashville is even worse than the Blackhawks, and they've got some really good players on that team, man. What do you think is going on with that squad?
Well, they actually have 2 games in hand, I think. Well, we have 2 games in hand, but they are 2 points ahead of us from being at the basement of the West. I have no idea. I thought Nashville would be 2-3 in this division, and it's a disaster. If you look at the goals against and the goals for, I mean, Staros is a top 5 goalie, I think. So I don't know what's going on there. You signed Stamkos to big money. I think the dude's playing with a broken heart. It's got to be tough to. I mean, it's new environments. Usually, guys, it takes them a while, or it's a different system than Tampa. Tampa's kind of more free, like freelance, go out and do your thing, and they're kind of structured with like a Barry Trotz, very boring, but they win, but they're just not winning. They got a lot of like Ryan O'Reilly, Stanley Cup champion, Stamkos champion, Marchessault, Stanley Cup champion. They got 3 really good locker room guys, but it's just not working out. And I think they interviewed Stamkos after the Tampa game, the last one they had, and he's like, well, we're just not getting open and finding ice. And I believe it was Dave McCarthy who said that he took that as a lack of effort from all the players. So something's got to get done. And I mean, I credit Trotz for spending the money because Nashville's not known for that. But they have some really good play, like Forsberg, Roman Josi. They got top guys in every position, and it's just not working out. So maybe they're going to clean up a little bit and try to move some pieces and try to reload. But I think the season, as of now, I don't see them coming back from this.
In baseball, a couple seasons ago, the Mets went out and they spent like $350 million on their roster, and it just didn't work out. They got a bunch of big name guys, and they were, the worst team in the league for a while. And it seems like kind of with the Nashville, the same thing is happening where you're bringing in a bunch of big name guys, and it's just not working Ryan O'Reilly, Stamkos, Roman Josi. Everyone, at least in one part of the country is talking about Josi being a perennial Norris Trophy candidate. And I get it, but and late last year, I think that if he would have had a good full season and not a great half a season, that they might have considered him more highly. But kind of going off on a tangent on how Nashville typically is, it just seems like this team isn't one of those squads that you load up on high-end talent and it works. They're usually, like you said, a very boring team, have a good defense. They wear you down, a great goaltending, but they're not really known for putting a ton of points on the board. And when you bring in a guy like Stamkos, who is typically a very high offensive output, and he's playing in kind of a defensive structure, that never works, man. And I also think that kind of relates to Lucas Reichel, who is typically a very offensive-minded player that has to play defensively, and it kind of throws him off a little bit. And you know what, man? That could be throwing Bedard off a little bit too, because that Richardson is preaching some defense to him, and Bedard is typically kind of a Ferrari that's meant to go fast, not tow trucks.
Yeah, it's parked in the trailer park. The Ferrari.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand Nashville, man. It's they signed Stamkos, and they're probably thinking, hey, we're going to get 40 goals from this guy. And I was just actually I traded him in my league for Brennan Hagel, and they were laughing at me. How can you do that? And Hagel gets me 5 assists in the first game, and Stamkos has like 1 assist in those 3 games. So I'm the last laugh, I guess. I'm laughing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think it's solely on the decline right now.
You know, another like question mark in the league, you know, since we might as well just go on with the Central Division. You know, let's talk about Colorado, man. I'm like absolutely baffled on, you know, what's going on with that squad, considering, you know, the high octane output that they could put out. Do you think that things are completely falling apart with that, essentially the bet that they put on Georgiev?
Well, they have 81 goals for this season. That's second in the Central behind the Jets at 93. But their goals against is 93 goals against. And that's a minus 12 differential. So that just tells you, I mean, a goalie's got to be better. You got Cale Makar on D. You got McKinnon, Rantanen, all these guys. They desperately need a goalie. Not a backup goalie. They need a new starter. So I was talking to you earlier. I'm like, hey, if I'm Joe Sakic, I'm calling the Ducks right now, and I'm going to give Gibson a shot. If they want to be taken serious, they definitely need someone in between the pipes, because they're not going to do anything in the playoffs.
What do you think that they have to offer for Gibson?
See, that's what I'm not sure about. I mean, they'd probably have to give away a pick and probably Georgiev, because let's not forget, he had the most wins last season, but this year he just can't get it together. I don't know what's going on. I would definitely make a push, though, for a goalie for the playoffs, because right now they're sitting, I believe, in 4th at 26 points, 2 points behind Dallas for the 3rd spot. But Winnipeg and Minnesota are just walking away with this division. It's crazy. Minnesota's 2 points behind the Jets. They're just sneaky quiet, like climbing their way up. But yeah. I don't see Winnipeg or Minnesota taking a drop anytime soon the way that they're playing. So that 3rd spot's up for grabs, but I just don't see them getting out of the first round if they're not going to get a goalie, that being the Avalanche.
You know, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned Anaheim, because Anaheim, I think, is a team full of questions. You know, I think that Zegers was meant to be, you know, kind of a part of the future there. And, you know, we could say he's snake bitten, or maybe he's unhappy, you know, not sure like what the deal is going on with him. Moving Gibson, I heard that he really likes it in Anaheim, but I wonder, like, just the state of Anaheim and what they're looking to be, because it seems like they've been in this same pattern of on the cusp of getting better and being somewhat of a contender, but they haven't been able to do that.
They're last in the Pacific. I mean, that's supposed to be the Sharks, and Sharks are playing good, actually. Their youngsters are playing well, and I actually heard a stat today that might surprise you. The number 1 puck battle winner, guy who comes away with the most like 50-50 battles, is Celebrini.
Yeah, I actually saw that the other day.
That's insane. 18 years old. Insane.
Yeah. He's running into the corners and digging out pucks, man, which helps with the possession game, which gives you more opportunities on offense. I think that he's essentially showing up, build, essentially playing exactly as build, what he was built to be. And he's giving the Sharks a huge boost and a big opportunity there. You mentioned, who did you mention? Did Bernsey say that he thinks that the Sharks are ahead of the Blackhawks in youth development?
McCarthy.
Dave McCarthy mentioned that the Sharks are ahead of the Blackhawks in youth development.
He thinks it's going faster.
I think that
Will Smith and Celebrini are the 2 youngsters leading the way.
Right. And I think that to a degree that he's right, but I also have to disagree, because the Blackhawks are absolutely loaded in prospects ready to make the jump to the NHL. Once these guys make the jump, I think that they're light years ahead of where the Sharks are.
Next season, that could be true. Yeah.
Yeah. As of right now, I don't think that they're ready. Well, in some sense, I guess you can say that they're ready to come up, but
it's pointless right now.
Yeah. And you know what? We're also like, a quarter through the season? If we were maybe 3/4 to the season and Celebrini's got 70 points and, maybe even a Selke candidate, we could talk about it. But I think that
he's like Taves, man. He kind of reminds me of that, coming up like Taves, that number one center right away. And defensively, yeah.
Winning face-offs, which is huge, which is a huge need for the Blackhawks. Where, Matt, do you think that maybe parting with a guy to get a couple centers who are good at the dot could benefit the Blackhawks? Obviously, it would help with the possession game.
Yeah, if you want to be a puck possession team, that's usually the goal when you're a playoff team. Like you're contending, you want the puck more, and that's the first part of being a puck possession team is winning that first draw. So yeah, absolutely, they'd have to load up on guys like that. I've been seeing Oliver Moore quite a bit, some college highlights. He looks good. I think he's going to kind of go through the same road these other guys have been going through, though. He's going to sign and spend a year in Rockford probably, or maybe 2. But just got to be patient with this thing.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Norwegian Cruise Line's Black Friday sale is here. Get ready to lock in the year's best deal with 50% off all cruises, NCL's all-new More at Sea package, and $250 free with Cruise First. You'll enjoy unlimited open bar, specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
I got a line.
He got a line.
She got a line.
We got 4 lines. Cricket Nation. Cue finger guns. Really easy. Super stress-free. 5G so fast. Like blazing fast. Games and memes. You'll have a blast. You can get fast 5G across 4 lines. You can get fast 5G across 4 lines. As we discuss, take it from us. We 4 are 1. Cricket Nation.
And only $25 a line. Welcome to more lines. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile. You're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Discount varies by line. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex Lotion Tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Kleenex Lotion Tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. Keep relief within reach. Grab Kleenex Lotion Tissues to help avoid the added discomfort of irritated skin during cold and flu season. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Yeah, I think now that the NHL is going to allow junior players to play in college, that went through about a month ago, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that might change the road a lot for players coming or essentially being NHL ready, because I think that will change the competition level in college. Not that the competition level is bad, but I think that there's going to be a lot more better players, which increases the competition, which I think will increase NHL ready players coming from the NCAA, which in a sense I think would be good, but at the same time, man, I think that can hurt USA grown players that are essentially going through the system and going to college, having kind of an influx of Canadians coming through. What do you think about that, Matt?
Well, the best players are going to play regardless. So
yeah,
I know a lot of players actually like the NCAA because if something were to go wrong, you're still coming out with a degree and you can have a good career after hockey or whatever. Juniors is not like that. Some guys, I always go back to Roenick because Roenick had like a deal I remember with, I think it was Boston University, but he didn't want anything to do with that. He wanted to be an NHL player right away. And I believe the Hawks sent him to a team that was owned by Wayne Gretzky, a junior team, and then the next year he made the jump. So they just take different routes to the NHL. But at college, I really enjoy watching college hockey. I think it's still entertaining and it's good hockey. But yeah, in the end, the best players are going to find a way to make it anyway. So the players are going to do what's best for them.
Do you think that considering hockey players in college play a significantly less amount of games than, say, guys playing juniors, that needs to be addressed?
Yeah, it's like a weekend type of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been arguments for that too, especially in juniors. Like the fourth line guys, third line guys trying to make it. They're fighting every night, and there's no fighting in college, stuff like that. I don't know, man. I think Eichel's had a good career. He's kind of came through with the college system. I think he'll make that top 6 at the Four Nations. So I don't know, man. I think like I said, whatever is best for that player, he's going to do what's best for him to get him to the NHL. And same with the junior guy. If the junior guy thinks he's going to put up better numbers in juniors, but it's kind of really close in competition level, I think.
Yeah.
There's different leagues and stuff. I know that one league is, I think it's the Q. I believe that they ban fighting, and they're suspending guys for calling guys like weird terms and stuff. Like I seen a guy get suspended for calling another dude a Mennonite. They suspended him for 5 games. I think it's an Amish thing. He must have had a bad beard like me, maybe, but still, I mean, if you're suspending, you're just creating softness. So I wouldn't want to play in that league because I don't even know how that got leaked out to get suspended too. Like, did the other player like tell on him, or did the ref report that? I don't know, but that's soft shit, and I don't like that at all.
Oh, you know what? I have heard that term before. And Band of Brothers. Have you ever seen that on HBO?
Yeah, years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name, man? One guy called somebody a Mennonite, and I remember back then I was like, "What the hell is that?"
It's a form of. It's like a more looser Amish person, like who kind of lives a little bit more. Maybe I don't.
Oh, really?
I mean, I used to watch that funny show like Amish Mafia, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's a Mennonite," and the Amish were like, "Oh, that guy's reckless." I'm like, okay.
Oh,
he drives a car. He's an Amish that drives a car.
Okay.
It's still ridiculous. It's not like he said something else, but like something about his mom or girlfriend, wife, whatever. But still, it's kind of soft. So,
if you really think about it, if the end of the world came, like, would anything really change for the Amish people? It's just business as
they're
usual.
Just like just another day at the farm, right? Yeah.
Oh man. So let's talk about a couple other central teams, man. Are there any teams that you think that can surprise people? Obviously, Minnesota and Winnipeg, man, is. I want to say, man, Winnipeg is the biggest surprise for me. I thought that they would be good, but I think didn't they go like 12 games or 14 games without losing one?
Yeah, it's Hellebuck, man. He's just lights out. He'll be the starter for the Four Nations USA team. They got the most goals for too, which is crazy. I know Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele lead the way on that team, and I'm surprised with Minnesota too, man. Kaprizov leads the league in points, and he's finally kind of making a stand. Like, hey, I'm elite. I want to be up in the conversation with these guys. Just the biggest surprise to me is Nashville. I had them 2 or 3, and they're 2 points ahead of the Hawks, and that. They're not a rebuilding team at all. So that's kind of the pathetic thing here.
Yeah, Kaprizov, man, he's been a 40-goal scorer, I think, every year he's been in the league. And he's been really quiet about that. His next contract coming up, he's going to be asking for big money, man, especially if he cracks 50. But I think that he's a consistent offensive power. If he were to hit free agency, maybe the Blackhawks should knock on the door a little bit. But talking about Winnipeg, Kyle Connor, and I think Sid got into it a little bit.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah,
I wouldn't have put that on my bingo card of Crosby and Kyle Connor mixing it up. Hey, it could be a preview for the Four Nations tournament, man.
He looks like a little kid to me, Kyle Connor.
Yeah, he does.
Still is like skinny and thin, and he just got that like really bushy mustache. what's up with this guy? But he scores like 40 goals a year. He's so good.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
he is, man.
You're talking about Kaprizov free agency. You know what? Next year, our boy Mitch Marner is a UFA. And I haven't heard anything with contract extensions or anything. I just remember last year the torches were out for this guy because he was soft in the playoffs, but they forget Nylander's on their team A, and then they signed his brother, so they made him even softer.
Yeah.
I would love to see Mitch Marner be Connor's line mate for the next 7-8 years, whatever it is. He's the perfect, that type of player, create space. He could score himself. He can make good passes. I think that would benefit Connor, and I'd like to see the Hawks open up the checkbook for once and not overpay a guy that's over the hill. Nothing against those guys, but we're overpaying those guys. Let's overpay a good guy now that can play for the next decade.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because those are short deals, though, that, we are overpaying. $4.5 million isn't going to kill us, but
no, not now.
Yeah, and especially they'll be coming off the books within 2 years, especially for Foligno and
I don't even consider Foligno overpaid. I think that's fine.
I don't either.
It's more of like the Dickinson guys and
Anderson.
You know what, Mrazek, he's been really good, and that's another goalie. I wonder, like maybe at the deadline someone's going to call, because you look at the Hawks' goals against, it's not bad at all, and he's part of the reason. He's been really solid his first 2 years here.
Yeah, I kind of want to hold on to him just because he's been so solid in net. You know that we've had that. Because for the past, before Mrazek came, we would have really strong games, but then we'd have weak goaltending, and we would lose games because of weak goaltending. And now it seems that we've got strong goaltending, and we're losing games because of weak offense. And something's got to kind of give here. And I think that I would like to hold on to Mrazek as long as we can,
they overpay.
Because it gives Soderblom and Drew Commesso more time to develop, because there's going to be a day where Mrazek's done, and it's going to be a competition, I think, between possibly Drew Commesso and Arvid Soderblom. And I think that having that competition is great for developing that goalie core, and especially bringing up a guy that is homegrown, because getting that goalie, man, is really, really difficult. A UC Saros doesn't always come down the pipe for everybody, or a Shesterkin, or an Ottinger, or a Hellebuck. It's just not very often that happens. And I would like for Drew Commesso to be that guy of the future. And I know that everybody had the pitchforks out for Soderblom last season, but Soderblom's play this year, man, I think has been pretty good. What do you think about Soderblom?
Goaltending has been the best part of this team. I can't really say anything bad about him. Occasionally you're going to get a weak goal here and there, but in the end, if you don't score, you're not going to win either, and hold leads and help your goalies. I think goaltending's fine. I wouldn't do anything to it unless someone calls for Mrazek and they overpay, give you a first-round pick or whatever, and a prospect, you got to do it. But as of now, I'm with you. I'd hold on to him.
Interesting. Moving on to the Four Nations, tournament, obviously I think goaltending is going to be like the spot that is going to make or break this tournament. And the teams that have the weaker goaltending are going to be the teams that get knocked out the quickest. Let's talk about rosters for Canada. You know what? I could have sworn. Hold on a second, man. I thought on my phone
I got some on the top of my head. I got the top 6.
Okay, I
think they're going to go with Bennington in net, which he's not a bad goalie. I think he's going to have a good team in front of him. I think they're going to be okay. I still think out of the 4 teams, Canada's goaltending is probably the weakest, but you can't count out their offense ever. You can't.
I have a one of the kind of rumors, potential rosters for Team Canada, and here's the roster that I have. And actually, I'll give you the lines, and you tell me what you think. Top line: Bedard, McDavid, and Marner. Second line: Marchand, Crosby, McKinnon. Third line, Lafreniere, Scheifele, Reinhart. Fourth line, Konecny, Point, and Stone. Now, going over that, man. Now, actually, just to kind of talk about, Mark Stone is having the best start to his season that he's had probably ever. And he's playing great right now, and he's not hurt, which is actually pretty surprising. Do you think that you would have a spot for Mark Stone on the Team Canada roster or Konecny over the Team Canada roster over somebody like, say, Brandon Hagel?
I would keep Travis Konecny for sure, because I looked at his minutes. Torts has him playing like 7 more minutes than any other player on the team. That's how important he is to Philly. I think he's okay. Mark Stone I never liked. Good player, like you said, when he plays, and I would actually have him on the team before. I'd have Connor before Mark Stone all day.
Yeah.
I think the rumor is that Anthony Cirelli of Tampa is going to be that 13th forward, that center. I think he's this number 2 center there. And penalty killer, good face-off man. That's the rumor, because I know John Cooper's got a lot to do with it too, because I think he's the head coach. I think I would put Cirelli and Hagel before Mark Stone all day. I know I'm kind of being biased with the Blackhawks, but with Hagel, I look at Hagel's stats, dude. He's unbelievable this year. He's having a great year. He's fast. He can do it all. He can put him on any line. He'll be fine.
I think he's got 29 points in 23 games.
He just had 5 assists in one game against Colorado. Colorado's a good team. Yeah, their goaltending sucks, but he still dominated that game. I watched it. As for the top 6, I would kind of set it up a little different. I'd probably have Sam Reinhart, not Nathan McKinnon. I'm sorry, Connor McDavid, and maybe Mitch Marner. I kind of think like 3 different kind of guys would make it flow better. Did you say John Tavares was on that list?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because I've heard rumors he might be on that team. I don't know why. I know he's been better.
I'd be surprised.
Defense, it's going to be Makar as your number 1 dude.
Let's stick with the forwards first, and then we'll get to D.
I think the list is okay. Mark Stone, yeah, he's won a cup.
Would you have Marchand before Hagel?
I think he's effective, Marchand. He's that pest guy. He's got some offensive talent. I think he'd be valuable in a tournament type play.
Okay.
It's like a playoff atmosphere. I think he lives for those big games, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think of Braden Point being a 4th line center.
Yeah, he'd be in my top 6, though. He'd probably be on my 2nd line. He's a really good, underrated goal scorer.
Would you move Marchand out of the top 6 and Point into the top 6?
Probably, yes. I'd probably have Marchand in the 3rd line, just playing against Austin Matthews and the Kachucks, just to kind of mess with those guys and play his pest-like game. I know it's not really him anymore, but I think it's effective, and he'd be probably really good at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I would probably the 4th line that they have as of right now is Konecny, Point, and Stone. I think I'd rather have Marchand and, to be honest with you, Lafreniere on that 4th line, because he can play that type of game,
and that's what he plays in New York, and he's really good at it. So I think, I think that would be fine, that 3rd line for sure.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Holiday gatherings are happening. Stack on the sparkle this season with unforgettable jewelry from Blue Nile. Right now, save up to 50% with Blue Nile's Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. Blue Nile offers an endless selection of bold gold styles, gemstone jewelry, and classic diamond pieces. So you can take your holiday party look to new levels of glam. Or gift yourself elegance for every day of the year. Shop now for up to 50% off jewelry at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
No matter what happens to your phone this holiday, whether it crashes down the chimney or gets broken like a New Year's resolution, Verizon's got you. This Black Friday, trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a wonderful new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on Unlimited Ultimate and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's up to $2,000 in value. So you'll save big on 3 amazing Apple gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for iPad and Apple Watch. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence available now.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex Lotion Tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Kleenex Lotion Tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. Keep relief within reach. Grab Kleenex Lotion Tissues to help avoid the added discomfort of irritated skin during cold and flu season. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
All right, defense. We've got top line McCarr and Taves, Devin Taves.
I like that. Yep.
Petrangelo and Mackenzie Weegar, Morrissey and Bouchard on the third pairing.
I would swap those two. I would swap the third pairing to the second pairing. I'm not Petrangelo is a good player. I feel like his best days were always with St. Louis though, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah. I don't know if he could play second line center minutes in a tournament like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would. He'd probably be my 6th defenseman, maybe 7th, if you could find something better.
Okay. And goalies, we've got Thompson, Talbot, and Binnington. And as you see, this is where the weakness is for Team Canada.
No, Aiden Hill, he didn't make that list, huh?
No. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, he played good enough to win a cup.
It's Binnington's net to lose.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be fine. I know he's a psycho. He plays like a madman. I like that. Personally, yeah. I like that little character in that. You don't really see that.
You need a guy like that in something like this.
He's confident in himself. I think he's going to be fine with a good defense in front of him. And the defense is okay. It's definitely better than St. Louis's defense. I think that it's his net to lose.
And for the extras, they've got Kyrou and Hamilton. I don't know about Hamilton being an extra. Yeah.
I would put Dougie Hamilton in before Petrangelo. Just because,
really?
Yeah, just because he can create offense. Yeah.
He can, but the problem is that you don't know how well he's going to hold up. You know, like if you're planning a roster, I mean, I would think that if you're planning a tournament roster, you would be doing this on the belief that you're going to have everybody that's going to play. You know, with Dougie Hamilton's injury history, you know, who knows if he's even available by then.
That's true, but look at New Jersey. They're a lot better with him in the lineup.
Yeah, they are. That's true. Well, you know what, man? They were saying earlier that Bedard might have played himself off of this roster. You mentioned this to me. Yeah. I think it's an interesting conversation. I don't believe so, but why don't you put the case forward that he has?
I was confused too, because we know how good he is. Everyone knows how good he is skill, but he is slumping this year. He's having a hard time putting the puck in the net. I mean, I don't know if I'd want him on that fourth line. I don't think he can make stuff happen, but he's got to have a good set of guys with him. And if I'm a GM, you know what, I would probably rather have a shutdown kind of mentality guy, and that's not Connor. So
right,
we got a couple. I think we got 2 months, right?
Yeah.
Things could change. Connor could go on a heater, and he could be at 20 goals, and they could be like, "Yeah, he's going to be our top line winger." I don't see him playing center in this tournament.
No, I don't either.
And the rumor is, well, not the rumor, but we're hearing guys with their mock picks. Anthony Cirelli is playing his way up there. He's that Tampa second line center, and they penalty kill guy, and Connor's not a penalty kill guy. Connor's a power play dude. He could. I hope he starts putting the puck in more, and then this thing could get buried. We won't even have to talk about it.
So listen to these 4 names: Bedard, Marchand, Lafreniere, Konecki. Do you think that with these 4 names that any one of these players kicks Bedard out of his spot?
I think Marchand, he's in. I think they have it in their head. He's going to be a role type of guy on that team. I think he's way better than Lafreniere, but you're seeing a lot of production with Lafreniere. You're not seeing it right now with Connor, so we know what he's capable of. He's an unbelievable talent. He's going to be hopefully the face of the NHL in 4 or 5 years when McDavid might slowly decline, but who knows? He's a freak too.
Yeah.
I want him to make the team. I want to cheer for a Blackhawk. I feel like there's only 2 Hawks going to be in the tournament. I believe Teuvo is with Team Finland. I don't know if we have any American guys not even being considered. Vlasic would be like my only guy I'd consider.
Yeah, I think that there's talk about Vlasic right now because he's just been so solid.
That would be great to see, and I want to see Connor. I think it would be like a dream to see, like, even for Connor, like, hey, dude, I'm going to skate out with Sidney Crosby for a shift. That's awesome.
I mean,
you can learn from this and boost your confidence, come back, bring it back to Chicago, and you're like a different guy.
Something I've noticed is that Connor is double teamed constantly.
Yep.
There's usually 2 guys on him because who gives a shit? We need to make sure that Bedard doesn't have the puck. And that's working because he has 2 other guys that aren't picking up the slack on his line. So as a 19-year-old, I think that's a huge problem to have. If you put him on a line with McDavid and Marner,
he's got space. Yeah.
He's got a lot of space, man, because that gives him the opportunity, because if he's getting covered by one guy, I think that he can handle that. But the constant double teams, triple teams, I believe is what's hurting him, even if he is playing against the best competition. Even if he was on a line with, let's say, for instance, Crosby and McKinnon, dude, I think that he would get so much space because you can't give Crosby an inch. Obviously, as what we've seen him win a gold medal when you give him an inch. McKinnon, a bull with the puck going up the center of the ice. It creates a lot of space for Bedard to be free, and what he does best is be creative. So I think that it would be a great opportunity for him to be in an environment where it's not that he's not the number one focus of the other squad, but that he's playing with some quality guys, and he can come back and say, hey, you know what? These are the type of players that I need. I don't need McKinnon. I don't need Crosby, but I need somebody who plays like this. And it could give Davidson, like, hey, you know what? I saw the type of guys that he plays well with, and I got to make some moves to make that happen for him. Yeah.
I got to get my shit in gear, Davidson's going to have to say.
Yeah, I mean, he could say, hey, you know what? Marner and Bedard play great. Marner can say, hey, you know what? This is a Matthews team. It's been great, but you know what, man? I think it's time for something new.
He needs to get paid. He's going to want to get paid. He puts up great numbers.
He does. He puts up great numbers every year. It's just that he disappears in the playoffs sometimes.
The whole team does.
Yeah. I'm not singling him out. That I think that he was unfairly singled out with the whole thing in the playoffs last year, but he is a part of it. I think Nylander's a big part of it too. He does put up points, but he's very adverse to go into the corners. And Alex Nylander tenfold of that.
He's been on 28 different teams already. I don't know how he keeps getting jobs. It's insane.
Probably because of his name.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
I don't know how Toronto does the same thing every year and expects different results. You still don't have a starting goalie. You keep bringing goalies that win Stanley Cups as backups, hoping they're going to be starters. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be the same thing again. They're going to run into the wrong team that got hot, probably Tampa, and they're going to get knocked out.
Yeah, and if you look at Tampa really quickly, you're looking at a team that was aging to rejuvenated and reloaded in a way.
Well, I mean, it's tough to see Stamkos go. I watch Tampa a lot. That's kind of like my second team. I was like, oh man, I have a Stamkos shirt, and I love this guy. I love his shot. Good, just good leader, kind of like a Taves leader. He was everything for that team. They let him go, and it was the right move because they brought in Jake Gensel, and he's been really good with that team too. Kucherov's still a freak. I mean, Vasi, I still think is the best goalie in the league, the big cat, and he's healthy now. And you got trading 2 first-round picks for Brandon Hagel, and you were like, wow, we got those guys, and look at him now. He's playing at an all-star level right now.
You look at they to be honest with you, it seemed like Stamkos was expendable because
he wanted money. He felt like he deserved it.
Yeah,
maybe
and it's
did.
like, you know what, dude? I mean, how many games have you missed? You know, over the course of your last contract, you know, and they paid you, and you were hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Even one cut, man. He played one game, so you can even say that he was really a non-factor in that cup run. Not to knock him at all, but it's like he was completely expendable. You replaced his offense essentially with Braden Point. Leadership with Victor Hedman. He's a great leader. You've got guys like Sorelli's playing great, like you mentioned. Hagel has turned into everything that they've wanted him to be.
Ryan McDonough.
And hold 1 second. Kucherov has gotten even better somehow.
The MVP.
And you lost Dennis Savard, you know, in last year. So Dennis Savard and Ryan McDonough. So you bring Ryan McDonough back, and he's everything that you need him to be. Dude, I think that Tampa is a reloaded team, and I think that they're a team built to do some damage in the playoffs. And I'll be honest with you, dude, they might be a team that reclaims that Florida title and could possibly beat Florida in a series. I think that they can. Let's not forget, man, that Tampa was the big brother in that state for a long time, and Florida couldn't get through them. And
hockey.
They did.
It's good hockey. Battle of Florida. I love those games.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that makes it interesting, you know, that, you know, Bettman put a bet getting hockey down in Florida. Took a long time, but look at them now, man. You got two great teams down there, two powerhouses. Yep. Well, cool, man. You got anything else?
No, I'm probably going to turn the radio on, the AM radio, and listen to the Blackhawks today, though.
I'll give you my CHSN login so that you can watch the game.
Out loud. You don't want to get shut down like Netflix.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I think that I would think that they've got bigger things to burn than worrying about me. I think they would want to get as many eyes on that service as humanly possible. You know, considering that they're sharing this network with the White Sox and the Bulls, you know, White Sox went 41 and 123 last year or something like that.
3 awesome teams, man, on one network. Unbelievable. $20 a month. That's it. Not a big deal.
Yeah, for one team. But yeah, man. It was a great podcast. Hey, I want to thank everybody on X for jumping on. We really appreciate it. You know, everyone, if you jump on or you message us or you essentially comment on our post, you know, we really appreciate it. We love talking hockey with you guys. Maybe we'll make this a Sunday thing, man. We'll record on Sundays and do them live so that guys on X can jump on, or girls too, want to jump on and listen to us. But that's all that we got for you this week. Next week, let's go over Team USA, Matt.
Sounds good.
And we'll catch you on the next one. This is Tom, and we're out of here.
No matter what happens to your phone this holiday, whether it crashes down the chimney or gets broken like a New Year's resolution, Verizon's got you. This Black Friday, trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a wonderful new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on Unlimited Ultimate and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's up to $2,000 in value. So you'll save big on 3 amazing Apple gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for iPad and Apple Watch. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence available now.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, But with Kleenex lotion tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Kleenex lotion tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. Keep relief within reach. Grab Kleenex lotion tissues to help avoid the added discomfort of irritated skin during cold and flu season. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Parents, did you know that only 50% of U.S. adults are financially literate? Millions of people don't fully understand how to manage money, and it's up to you to not let your kids grow up into that statistic. With Greenlight's educational money app and parent-controlled debit card, you can teach them how to earn, save, and invest wisely. The earlier they learn, the better prepared they'll be to manage their money and build a financially secure life. Give your kids the financial edge they need. Sign up for Greenlight today at greenlight.com/podcast. That's greenlight.com/podcast.
Hey everybody, I'm Trevor Sikkema, host of the PFF NFL show, here to tell you what you can find on all of our shows throughout the week. On Mondays, we have the Grade Release Show, where myself and Dalton Wasserman break down every single game that you just saw in the NFL. On Tuesdays, we have the Quarterback Breakdown with Seth Galina. On Wednesdays, we've got the Rookie Review with John Ledyard and the preview for the upcoming week in the NFL. So make sure you are subscribed to the PFF NFL show wherever you get your podcasts.